Hello! Right, there's actually no time to beat around the bush. We've got a lot to cover today. This project started out with my intention that I was going to explore the dart procedures and connect them somehow to parkour. That didn't happen. I started out with an intention to explore dart and parkour together. This idea that the dart procedure, if I put momentum through it, it would turn into parkour movements. The thing is, that quite quickly answered itself. Yes, if you just do the dart procedures, if you put momentum through various parts of the dart procedures, then you have jumping, you have swinging, you have a catch pass. I made a video diary for 2 weeks, filming myself every morning, talking to the camera, and then doing, going through the dart procedure, and basically recording what I was thinking and what I found. I've reviewed all the footage that I got from my phone camera, and my God, I spent my time as an Alexander teacher trying to put in sort of a sentence or 2 sentences what the Alexander technique is, what it means to me. It's a confusing topic. It's so experiential. Over the course of this 2 weeks of just every morning talking to the camera and exploring the dart procedures upstairs, without realising, really started to get to grips with what I currently believe the Alexander technique to be. I want to know what the Alexander technique is in a sentence. And I think at the end of this 2 weeks worth of exploration, I've got that sentence. And what is it? That's a good question. So I've lost my book. The first half of the sentence I've got. It's strong. The second half, maybe I'll do another dart project. So here it is. The Alexander technique is a practice of non-judgemental psychophysical observation and inquiry that is interested in our relationship with our space and mobility. For me, what would be useful is to look through that footage and extract the moments where I started to realise this sentence and I started to realise what the technique is for me. The problem with this is all of these videos, pretty much all of these videos apart from the dart ones, are me talking to camera like this in my bedroom. So the way I'm going to differentiate between videos from the past and today, the present, is I'm going to wear this headdress when we're in the present, okay? Every time you see this headdress, it's the present day. So here's a quick video of me conceiving of the idea to do the dart project. So it's the 2nd of February, 2021. I think it's a Wednesday. It's important to note that the 2nd of February was a Tuesday. It wasn't a Wednesday. And this caused a little bit of a problem and a very mild mental breakdown slightly later on in the project. Day 4 of the dart journey, or maybe day 5. It's day 4 today, and if we started on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, day 5. That can't be right. I want to explore the dart procedures and I want to connect them to parkour. Don't worry, I hear you loud and clear. We're nearly 4 minutes into the video and I haven't told you what the dart procedures are yet. Here's a short video of me doing a section of the dart procedures and explaining what they are. So, the dart procedures are a sequence of movements developed by Alexander teachers Joan and Alex Murray that take you through a series of positions that correlate with various evolutionary stages as described by Raymond Dart. And here's a video of me doing them imperfectly in strong wind outside. Now that we've covered that and clarified that, this is essentially where we say goodbye to the dart procedures and move on to something else. This project was a means whereby I could figure out what the Alexander technique meant to me. Came up with this sentence. The first word of the sentence is a practice. A practice is something you do a little and often. There's this idea that practice makes perfect. Practice makes different. Practice makes change. This whole project was a practice for me. I started at the beginning not very confident in myself, not very confident in the fact that I could potentially do any parkour or anything parkour related. And by the end of it, or at the end of the 2 weeks, I was feeling pretty good. In my head, there's this feeling of like, well, I can't do it because I'm only a musician and I'm not strong enough and I'm not fit enough and I was rubbish at rugby. which is all there. I feel like I've got a bit lax with the Dart project over the past few days. And today what I just want to do, just want to go back to it. I feel like I was in a very, very good place with it. And now I just need to carry on. I learned from this that things take time, and sometimes it's just about showing up with a set of values and going through the motions. Even if one day you feel excellent, the next day you feel terrible, it's about showing up. I haven't got very much to say. I woke up probably about like 2 hours ago in quite a lot of pain. Okay, here we are, it's a Monday, and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling well. So, the Alexander technique is a practice, we've done practice, a practice of non-judgemental. So now, non-judgemental, what does that mean? This is what it means, or this is what I mean by it. At its heart, Alexander technique is an exploratory practice. We're exploring subconscious habits, stuff we're not really aware of or conscious of. Therefore, we have to be kind to what we find and not get too caught up in whether it's right or wrong or what it necessarily means or where it came from. This means that stuff you don't know becomes fascinating, which is lovely. This is a clip from day 4 when I was exploring the Alexandrian idea of allowing my neck to be free so that my head could roll forward and up. Then thinking my direction of I want to allow my neck to be free so that my head can roll forward and up. But it not being a going in and checking out the body, it's staying with this receiving information. ... What I'm finding is that this movement is much closer to center, and that I have this feeling of my head rolling forward and up around a central point that is in here in the center, and that the sort of the musculature of the back is happening behind the central point, behind my center of gravity, as it were. And this is potentially where this is getting a bit woo-woo, but in trying to find that and to do it and to find that central point, you're going to, more likely you'll tense extraneous muscle to try and find it. Come to my senses, inhibit my desire to do anything, come into a space of observation. And that to be to observe anything, because if I go in looking for something that I'm just going to find what I'm looking for, because I'm looking for it. Instead, I want to find something that I don't know. Because this is an experiment. I am receiving more sensation from my body now. From like a band underneath my shoulder blades is sort of going, me. And then I'm just going to allow it to be there. So the Alexander technique is a practice of non-judgmental psychophysical. Psychophysical unity is one of FM Alexander's principles. It's, for me, the way I think about it is that there is a constant chatty relationship between the mind and the body. And it's just interesting exploring that. In the project, throughout the course of this 2 weeks, there were some oddly emotional moments. In lifting my head, was I sort of going, or was I able to let it come from a place of falling onto the floor and then moving with support? This was very interesting. This place. I had a therapy session last week, which was intense. Can't really remember why necessarily, but the sensation I got off the back of it was a release in this place, like behind my sternum and then across my clavicles. Big release, and I was only aware of it releasing because there came a point where I was like, enough of this, I don't want to do this anymore. Like this exploration into some murky depth of my psyche is too much, and I sort of tensed away from it and felt in the same way that after you've had a massage and then you can just and then you come back to play or whatever, and you can just feel your old habitual tensions just going icing back over you, not like icing on a cake, icing like ice. Or maybe like icing on a cake. And I could feel this ice up again. It feels like a bit wobbly and dangerous in a way that I think something has shifted or maybe changed. I hope. And now I just need to support it in its changing. Here's a clip of me happily exploring a procedure we call the whispered R in the Alexander technique, which gives you a little bit of space to explore your breathing. And I'm having a really great time, and then something just went wrong. Whoa. I feel really sad. It was also a very interesting moment with me and pitch. I'm a musician. My sense of pitch is a bit pitchy. It's a bit wobbly. But then there was this experience of I'll show you. I woke up in my dream. I had Jessie J, "My Heart Will Go On," where she sings it on that I think it's a Chinese reality competition show. Chromatic scale, do 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 do, we'll stay for that. Really in my dream, and was thinking about space. I really experienced music spatially and in colours. G major's green, D major's blue, A major's red, B major's sort of, actually, I don't know about B major, it's sort of a royal red, E major's green, A major can also be yellow. E major and A major can also be yellow. E flats, gorgeous green. But I feel it here, like there's this real sense of E flat major. Then listen to Yebba, and I think his name is Clark Beckham, I don't know, singing Gravity, and was like, this is in G major because this is what G feels like to me. I think that's a G. And it's quite low down in my stomach. That might be an E flat. So those were a few experiences that I felt were really psychophysical, really just show that there is a relationship between the mind and the body. So we've covered the first 3 words of the sentence. A practice of non-judgemental psychophysical, done. I'm now going to do the rest of the sentence in one fell swoop. The rest of the sentence is a practice of non-judgemental psychophysical observation and inquiry that relates to our intrinsic sense of movement and our intrinsic sense of space. In the Alexander technique, the tool we use is called a direction. A direction is just a thought. Alexander spends his time talking about how this work is just thinking, which to me, thinking about what? When do we think? What thoughts? Why can't you just tell me how to do it? Just tell me how to get it right. I'm fine. The greatest thing I've got over the course of this 2 weeks is really understanding what directing means to me. And I'm going to show you the process from the beginning to the end of me figuring out what a direction is. Sweet baby! And for me, direction is a thought, a spatial thought that acknowledges the relationship between and so the space between, therefore. A direction is therefore a connecting thought. And for me, a direction is sort of a request that you pop into this non-judgmental, gentle place of observation because you want to note, you want to observe. I don't actually want my head to go forward and up necessarily. I just want to have it to be an intention that I slip into this kind of thing. And in doing that yesterday, I noticed this connection between the head and the feet, and there being this kind of sense of tension and pull, which was really nice. I'm thinking forward and up. I feel all the way down to my heels. This kind of antagonistic pull, as it were. This space back here. If I can acknowledge the space and go up, forward and up, that's the experiment. The result of the experiment has been this weird, big emotional response. just putting space in your neck. It's not freeing the neck necessarily. Well, no, it is. I don't know. Allow your neck to be free. Allow there to be space in your neck. Spirals. This is why. Cold hands outside, at the moment very cold. Very conscious of like, oh, I'm so thin. And like blood not getting to my hand. Limbs is spirals. A spiral implies space. Everything is about space, and a spiral implies space. Like, even if it's tightly wound, there is still space in the center of a spiral. And so thinking of a spiral, or the arms spiraling, gives a sense of space. It's a direction. The space within my arm. Okay, and as this is a tool for observation and inquiry, I inquire. Oh, I want to allow my arms to spiral. I want my arms to spiraling. And then this part of my back goes, whoa, and then that's something I've learned. So then I sort of go, well, maybe continue the spiral. Maybe the spiral starts here. Maybe the whirlwind starts. Oh, and then notice how this, okay, so then, and then think the thought again, I don't want to stop my arms from spiraling. And I notice that the spiral here, if this is the bottom of the whirlwind, is very sort of like, and then I just notice it and allow it. I wonder whether the whirlwind at the bottom could be sort of huge tornado style. And that changes a lot of stuff. It doesn't make anything better. It doesn't make anything, it just makes things different. You give something space to let it change itself. I can't do space. Like, I can't do the space in my hands here now, but I could acknowledge the fact that I'm enclosing it. Like with the foot, I can't do the space under my arch. I can't do this space in my foot. All I can do is this space around it. And therefore, it's great because it's a non-doing thing. I can't do the space. All I can do is acknowledge that I'm creating it. I can't do the space in my body, but all I can do is acknowledge that I am containing it. And then I was like, oh, because I've been thinking about spirals in the arms, because thinking about a spiral is really fun, because a spiral is also a spring. Like, spiral implies movement. When you talk about spirals, there is an implication of movement. And therefore, so as an implication of movement, therefore it's a really great direction, because it's acknowledging the space, but it's also acknowledging the movement. Forwards and up is suggesting the natural developmental movement of the head on top of the spine to roll forward and up. And that is why it feels good. That's why it feels good. That's pretty much the project. Thank you for making it this far if you did. If not, I'm screaming into an empty room, and that's fine as well, because at least I'm wearing this headdress. There was a lot in there about that I didn't put in, a lot of stuff about breathing that was very interesting, but there wasn't time, there wasn't the space. But I hope you've learned something. I know I have. And I'll see you again. Bye now. I'm a beautiful flower.